Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And, very interesting episode of Smackdown. Some things that confused me. I mean, ultimately, I think we all knew the destinations that this show wanted to get to with certain feuds and matches. I just think they could have gotten there a bit more smoothly in some cases. We've had signings and swerves and a lot of other stuff on this show. Overall, though, I'd give it a score of, I felt like this was a 6.5 show, maybe 7 if I'm generous. Not a bad show by any means, but I think compared to even last week, it was not necessarily subpar. Last week was great, yeah. So I think relative to that, it was pretty mad. Although, gotta give props. Second week in a row, the crowd was awesome.
Yeah.
Crowd. I don't want to warm up to crowds again, at least not until they've thoroughly earned my trust. But they're 2 for 2 right now. So we'll see what the crowd next week is like, specifically for SmackDown, because I know we don't watch Raw. But how'd you feel about tonight's episode, man?
I'm pretty much with you, man. It was a 6.5 for me. There was obviously some good stuff, but I feel like every twist that they tried to throw at us just did not land for me at all. It felt like the worst possible way, or at least a very suboptimal way to do what they were trying to do here.
Yeah, I can perfectly understand why you feel that way, man. I definitely think that I'm there with you with how SmackDown handled some things tonight. But let's get into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And looking over the show, I mean, I don't really think I have heats of the night. I just think some things, if anything, maybe it's a roster full of nitpicks. Like, for example, Reggie, which I'm going to try and remember to call him that now because WWE really emphasized that tonight. First of all, I will never understand, sanctioned 24/7 matches. I guess for all intents and purposes, it does make sense because it's taking place at the time, 24/7. That's all the time. So in that way, it works. But, why throw matches out? Why didn't Otis, because Reggie defended it against Gable tonight.
Yeah.
And I like that Gable's getting more shine. You and I have been talking about for years how good Gable is.
And I got big-time William Regal vibes from Gable in this match tonight, too.
Absolutely. And dude, good stuff there. Otis comes in. He kind of throws, Reggie over the top rope. Reggie does, the acrobatics. He lands very nicely. I think he's a great, and I don't even mean this pejoratively. I'm being 100% sincere. I think he is a great act for the kids, and I think he is a great act for people that just haven't seen his kind of stylings before. I've never really seen Cirque du Soleil, or maybe curious about it. I think it's good for a pop. But here's the thing. It's 24/7. So, I don't understand, because I was actually looking forward to Otis potentially being 24/7 champion, and I thought he was just going to maul Reggie, after the fact and then win it, and then Chad would recover and try and take credit and be like, yeah, that's my star pupil, that's my Otis. And I'm not saying they won't do that in the future. I think I'm just a little perplexed why they didn't do that now, just so I could be exact with my nitpick. It's not necessarily that they didn't do it. I mean, it is, because I'm not putting it off for them doing it in the future. I just don't understand why you didn't do it right then and there. And the DQ, and I just feel like the whole thing was handled kind of sloppily, at least from where I sit. Maybe you disagree. I always appreciate hearing your perspective. But yeah, that was definitely one nitpick I had on the show tonight.
I think really the best solution, basically the way to do this in a way that makes it make sense, is to just not ring the fucking bell. Let Otis come in and grab Reggie and act like he's going to attack him, but then he tries to throw him out of the ring, and Reggie does his little flip and just runs away and escapes. And that's just it. That's the match. So you don't need to ring the bell to be like, oh, no, you're disqualified. Because in 24/7 rules, technically, that could have just been part of another match. That could have just been Otis wanting to get in there and try and beat Reggie himself. But the way that they handled it with the disqualification was stupid. That's the thing that I'll definitely agree with you the most on.
Yeah. So what about you, man? We'll volley back and forth because I'm pretty sure I have more nitpicks. But what about you? You got anything in your roster?
I feel like the return of Sasha Banks was made as underwhelming as they could have possibly made it.
let me ask you something. Let me propose an alternative to you. Let's say that Bianca, for whatever reason, like her and Zelina Vega are the main event. Well, we know what the reason would be because they were just determined to have Sasha return tonight. And then Sasha just returned out of nowhere, like no prior save or anything like that, and then attacked Bianca. Do you think that would have been better? Or how would you have done it?
God, I really just wouldn't want anyone else to be involved. I would just want Sasha's music to hit with Bianca in the ring, and that's it.
Maybe even keep it low-key, not even physical. Maybe just a stare down or something, look at the title. Less is more kind of thing. I
hate the whole, like, oh, we're besties now because we got to share an ESPY together, but then, no, I actually want the title. I fucking hate that shit. That was like, that had Alexa Bliss vibes all over it, and I despise it. That's the laziest kind of fucking swerve, is the one-night swerve, where someone returns as a babyface to get a big pop, and then they turn heel at the end of the night to make their intentions known. It's like, no, I hate it. I fucking hate that shit. That's so lazy. I really, the way to do it here, well, and I also, high key here, feel like the contract signing would have been a better main event than the one we got. Because again, you should have had Sasha be clearly defined as a heel as soon as she came out. Like literally, you could have Bianca talking in the ring, Sasha's music hits. She could literally just stand there, stare at Bianca, point at the title, make the belt motion, and be like, SummerSlam, and we know it's on. Like, you don't need to tell us all this shit. You don't need to walk us through this whole story of Sasha pretending to be Bianca's friend and then literally, and I do mean literally because this is what they call the move, backstabbing Bianca at the end of the night. That is like the most fake smart shit I've ever heard in my life. Literally, in the Discord, in the live wrestling discussion channel, I explicitly said, I feel like Vince thinks he's a genius for having Sasha use a backstabber right before the heel turn.
Yeah.
It's and the really sad thing is commentary even like overly emphasized it. Like, oh, that was a backstabber. Like they went over the top with it to really just make it obvious that like, yeah, this ain't it. This is like Sasha's not done for the night. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, dude, I'm just gonna kind of springboard off of your point, if I may, and just kind of give my own thoughts, you know, in this segment about all of this. I totally understand where you're coming from. And look, I'm gonna be honest, if you guys follow me on Twitter at John_TWitWoW, he's at Ashton_TWitWoW. I quote tweeted WWE's tweet, Sasha Banks had other plans where she's beating on Bianca. And I did poke fun at Sasha, you know, with the anti-vaccination posts, which it's funny that Sasha returned tonight because last night on Q&A, we actually did talk about Sasha and just where she's been and like all that stuff. But there's no denying, if I'm being 100% sincere, I don't have anything against Sasha Banks fans. If they're hyped about her being back, I don't blame them at all. She's incredibly talented. But see, that therein kind of lies the problem at the same time. You're talking about two really talented women, and I think because they are who they are, they're going to get away with it. But I'm happy that you called it out for being the lazy writing that it is, because these women really do, if we're speaking about them purely as performers, which is what the show is about, they deserve better writing than that. I even saw a tweet today. It's actually funny that we're talking about this because I even saw a tweet today, and I wish I could remember the user, but I just know it wasn't me. And they said that they felt the build-up to their WrestleMania match was so convoluted and messy, and they were hoping that Sasha Banks and Bianca could redeem it at SummerSlam. Now, let's be crystal clear here. These two in the ring, SummerSlam, their match is probably going to be stellar, probably one of the best matches of the show, if not the best match of the show. But it's really a shame that these two women, when they put all the work in the ring, they're breaking the ground that they're breaking, you know, the ESPY, the main event it made, like all of that, and just the writing is not matching their talent at all. Like, I don't understand how, let's put yourselves in Bianca's shoes. Now, Bianca, I think, you know, they were celebrating her being champion for over 100 days, 110 to be exact. You know, and I think they've booked her very strong in this and that, so I'm not saying that they've gotten Bianca entirely wrong. I don't want to slip into hyperbole here. But I do think in this one isolated instance, you make her look kind of stupid, if I'm honest. Like, how do you just, like, not have your guard up the whole time?
Yeah,
how do you not even...
I was going to talk about that in the Discord, and I forgot to, and because I forgot to talk about it in the Discord, I would have forgotten to bring it up here, so I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Well, no, because, like, dude, and here's the thing. I don't think there's any overcoming that, but I at the very least would have appreciated a backstage segment where Bianca was like, hugging me. What was that about? And then Sasha could have at least fed her some BS. But to just have the save, and then you go into the tag match and it's like, oh, we're all cool. It's like, no, like Bianca is better than this. I mean, she's the EST, right? So what's one EST word? Smart test, right? And you didn't really show your smarts there. You really didn't. I don't know how somebody that has been as visceral to you as they were when you won the title, all the crap that Sasha put Bianca through, and it goes under the bridge because you won an ESPY together. I just
thought of exactly how, again, the thing that I said earlier about Sasha just showing up and they're doing the belt strap motion, that was 10 seconds of prep. I've had a little time. I came up with something way better.
Okay.
Opening segment, obviously, well, actually, no, we got Cena. The first segment, we had Bianca in. It wasn't the opening segment of the show, but you know what I'm talking about. The first segment, we had Bianca in. She comes out. We get the Carmella interruption. We get the Zelina interruption. We also get a Liv interruption, though. The three of them all want a shot at Bianca's title. So what do? Triple threat. We drop the Mysterio versus Uso match from the show completely because who gives a fuck about that? We get a women's triple threat match between Liv, Zelina, and Carmella. Carmella wins the right to challenge Bianca for her title for a third week in a row in the main event of the show. Bianca puts her away in like 3 minutes. Sasha's music hits after the match, but she's not at the top of the ramp. She attacks Bianca from behind with the same backstabber, and then we're fucking off and rolling. Like, that's, to me, that's 100,000 times better than what they did tonight, because then you get Liv involved at all, which I can't believe she wasn't tonight. You maintain Carmella as like this obnoxious, opportunistic heel, because I would imagine Liv would hit a finisher on Zelina, and then Carmella chucks Liv out of the ring and gets the pin for herself in the triple threat. You re-establish Bianca as just straight up above Carmella at this point. Like, she's already beaten her 2 weeks in a row. The third time is going to be the most decisive. And then you get Sasha's music to hit, which is the big pop, but then she attacks Bianca from behind, which is like, oh, fuck, she's still a heel. She still wants that Smackdown Women's title. Like, there's no fake-ass face turn in the middle of this at all.
What I especially like about your alternative that you've presented to us is that you're making more than one woman in this thing. Like, I really cannot believe that this is now the second week in a row we have not seen Liv Morgan. After she had an incredible Money in the Bank performance, and she sold the emotion after the fact, on Twitter, like, how heartbroken she was. Well, when are you going to begin the ascent back to the top? Like this is a woman, and again, I'm trying not to commit hyperbole here, and I hope what I'm about to say doesn't come across as that to you or to our audience, but I feel like Liv's the type of babyface that you could build a WrestleMania push around, like her going all the way there and getting the big babyface win. And, like, they're not doing anything with her. Toni Storm, who just debuted last week, cool new finish and everything, had a nice brief backstage promo, said she's going to climb the top of the ladder of SmackDown and become women's champion. Nowhere to be seen after she beat the woman who interrupts Bianca tonight, or one of the women, in Zelina, who I like Zelina. I'm not saying don't give Zelina TV time. I just want the television time that they are being given to be coherent, to make sense. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. But see, now, in WWE's mind, it makes sense because it was never about Carmella or Zelina, and it sure as hell wasn't about Liv and Toni, because in their minds, I think their philosophy is, if we have no intentions with them, don't even put them on TV to give the audience the wrong idea. This was all about, and always about, Sasha and Bianca. But if that was the case, you still could have gotten there with the alternative that you just proposed, while giving other people, especially Liv as the sympathetic underdog, a bit of a rub here. Yeah. So then you can kind of keep her in the back of your mind, and you think, well, no matter who emerges between Sasha and Bianca, how long before Liv gets to be a contender? Like, build a division. See, this is why I can almost understand, and I think it's ludicrous for the record, why people can sometimes be anti-Four Horsewomen. Because it's like, Sasha is fantastic. I will never take anything away from her talent or abilities. We have praised her constantly, just any chance we get, on this podcast or off. But, like, she can't carry the division forever. Charlotte mercifully cannot carry a division forever, at least WWE's perception of carrying. Becky's off doing her own thing, which I think was probably the healthiest choice, because now whenever she returns, her stock is going to be at an all-time high, I feel like. Bayley got injured. There are other women that are capable, and I keep coming back to Liv as like a prime example. I want so much for her. And I'm not saying they're not going to give it. Again, I need to be very careful with my remarks. It's just a shame that she couldn't even get a rub off of this. So I completely agree with everything you're saying here. I think you're 1,000% on point. Thinking about the rest of the show, do I have any other nitpicks? Because I actually did like a good bit on this show too. I didn't hate everything.
To be fair, I could probably throw another nitpick into the mix here, just kind of piggybacking off of what I was just saying. I'm so fucking tired of the Mysterios. Get them off my TV, please.
That was actually going to be my next nitpick. Yeah. You know, I don't feel like they're really compelling. If you wanted me to even give an iota of attention to this, you would, and I know they're not going to do it, but you would turn Dominic heel and be like, you know, you keep telling me that I'm making rookie mistakes and I'm, you know, wet behind the ears or whatever. And look how long you've lingered in the business. You know, I'm going to surpass you kind of thing.
Honestly, I actually kind of agree with that. Dominic could use a young, arrogant Randy Orton type heel run. Like, obviously not as successful as Randy's initial heel run was, but like, yeah, let him be this like in over his head, arrogant, doesn't even know how deep of waters he's swimming in, so he doesn't realize he's drowning yet kind of run. Like, I would love that for him. I think I'm not even a Dominic Mysterio fan, and to me, the best way to use him is to not use him. But if you insist on having him on my TV, at least do something interesting with him, and that would be it.
Yeah, I think that's the most interesting route you can go with the Mysterios, because you already did the one cheap pop kind of thing of you know, having father-son tag champions. But like, again, like you, I prefer if Dominic didn't get used at all. I don't think he's the worst wrestler I've ever seen, but he's not going to put butts in seats. He's not the worst wrestler,
but he might be one of the worst talkers.
Oh, God, absolutely. Oh,
he's
God.
Like Ronda Rousey level bad on the mic.
But, you know, like, I guess for me, as I've gotten older, especially when you've got somebody, because how old even is Dominic? Let me just get an age on him real quick.
23-ish?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I just want to get an exact number here. Yeah, he's 24. Just turned 24 this year back in April, so not that long ago. You know, when you're that young, I like them to experiment a little bit, because I never want to write anybody off completely. We've even said that about a lot of NXT talents over the years. You know, maybe there is a voice to Dominic Mysterio that he hasn't found yet, but this shit that he's doing where he's just so deferent to his dad, like, oh yeah, dad, I love it. Like just this uncompromising, unquestioning respect and this and that. Like,
I feel like that's probably how he is IRL though.
I mean, yeah, but this is a case where, like, real life doesn't map on well to a potential character.
Yeah, I want Vince to call them into his office and be like, Dominic, listen here, kid. You're going to learn how to disrespect your daddy.
And, you know, like, God, keep the whole Mysterio family the fuck away from the storyline. Maybe just kind of mention them as like in promos, like Ray could say, you know, your mother doesn't even know what's gotten into you kind of thing. Or whatever, but yeah, it could even be like Ray obviously doesn't want to hurt his son. It's like a wayward son type thing. But Dominic's just like, well, fuck you. You know, I'm kind of doing my own thing now.
Holy shit! If they could get Dom to have that level of resentment for his dad on TV, holy shit!
Yeah, it's like you put me in danger on national television when Eddie was off his rocker and you almost lost custody of me, Dad. I don't owe you shit. But yeah, like, essentially, and I am being mostly serious. I am joking a little bit, but I think you got to do something to spice them up a little. Honestly, like, yeah, it's just, it's sad to me that we're still, not even sad, it's just kind of apathetic to me that we're still doing the same thing with the Mysterios. And they're, you know, feuding with the Usos. I get that they want to get the rematch out of the way, but honestly, I hope after they lose that, which I think they will and should, that we just, you know, maybe think about doing something different. Because I think Ray's line about, you know, son, you made some rookie mistakes, I hope they hold on to that. And I hope Dominic, like, I honestly hope Ray eats the pin in the rematch. And Dominic's like, well, you told me I made rookie mistakes, but you're the one that got pinned out there when we're about to get the titles back. And you kind of sow those seeds. I don't think they will do that, but that's the most interest you can get out of the Mysterios. Do I have any more nitpicks? Because, again, you and I shared that one. I don't think so, because I think everything else I more or less liked. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Trying to think if there was anything else that I just straight up did not like. And I don't think there was. I think we can move on.
All right, then let us get into our Friday night Smackdown review. And we open up with John Cena. What did you think about his promo here?
I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but like...
Do you want to squeak more about it before you continue your analysis?
I mean... Yeah, it was just the same one as last week. He just repeated all the same shit, except he got to call Roman a coward.
Man, you really have a lot of feelings about that.
It's literally feeding into Roman's narrative that he doesn't fucking change. He's like, yes, you're right, I don't change, and that's a good thing, bitch. And I'm like, no, you're wrong, bitch.
I mean, dude, I should have warned you about this before we went live, but I've been slowly turning up for like the past half hour, and so this is really like the worst discourse to be having because I just want to use this microphone.
I wish I would have known. You should have told me earlier.
I really should have. This is the worst discourse to be having because, not to stroke that ego, just to continue the sexual tension that this show started off with, but we were right. Like, our ideas were so much more interesting for how we got to this matchup. And WWE is like,
I love
yes,
later on Roman even referred to him as Mr. Missionary.
Yeah. Roman is just eating this up, and I love it.
It's unbelievable how much Roman has grown in the last 4 years, because 2017 Roman got eaten alive by Cena on the mic, and Cena just can't touch him right now.
He really can't. And the thing is, like, God... You would think that Cena has creative control, so I can't even say, like, oh, you are what you're booked, and Cena's at the mercy of the pencil. You should be the pencil! You're John Cena! How did you not look at that promo and immediately go into Vince's office and be like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna work, man. He just ate me alive. I need a retort. I need to, like, just do everything differently right now. But now... He's like, the best thing you can do is be true to yourself. You know who says that, John? People that get bullied. I'm sorry. That's just the best thing. The best thing I can do is just be me. And you know what happens?
They
you
say
go home
in between breaths of air while getting a swirly.
Exactly. And they're just like, yeah, good joke, craptard. That's why your parents are divorced. And then they kick them in the ribs and leave. Like, Jesus Christ. Again, I should have warned all of you that I've been slowly turning up over the period of like 30 minutes. But yeah, like, I like John. I do. I've been enjoying him since he's been back. It made me smile so big when Foster's like, you know, I think Cena's my favorite of all time. And so I'm not trying to take the piss out of anyone. I just feel like, to me, you know what it really comes down to? And again, being totally serious, I don't understand how, if you're anybody, I don't care if you're John Cena, if you're fucking Funaki making a comeback, whoever you are, how somebody can dissect you so thoroughly like that and viscerally on top of that and just not do anything. I mean, Cena took action, but like, he didn't take action in the way that I think really would have gotten Roman's attention. Because Roman's face, when Cena would, you know, do his whole shenanigans with the contract signing later, it was less to me like, oh, fuck, and more like, so we're really going to do this? Really going to do this? All right. Put another 0 on that check. You know, because, like, I don't even know. And again, we know that Roman projects an image. That's the essence of the character. He says things, but he feels differently. He doesn't say what he feels, if I can get my words together. And, like, so, yeah, maybe he really is sweating Cena. And I totally get that. But still, even if it's a projection...
I mean, the way he was twitching after Cena signed the contract, I think he definitely does.
But even if you're projecting, though, those projections got arms right there because they punched you down. Even the projection punched you down. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the promo for the most part because Cena's going to Cena, and he does it very well. And he's had a staying power that most top guys would just love. And I think maybe even some envy. Like, man, I wish I could have been at the top that long and been that consistently good. But I wanted a bit more. And again, I know it's very egoistic to say it on our own platform, but I really do think our ideas were better to make Cena, especially after coming out of the Funhouse, do that introspection. But yeah, that didn't happen here. What did happen here, though, is we got Baron with 2 R's, Corbin, coming out
And an E instead of an O.
Exactly. And I can't believe that Mark and I had the same thought process because I made the joke only like a few seconds before he did. I swear, this whole thing between me and Mark, the storyline's going to culminate with us joining forces and everybody else is fucked. But yeah, he's just, again, he's the whole, somebody stole my identity, which that is the weirdest case of identity that I've ever, like, did you know what you just jacked? You realize that you just leveled down, right? And I lost my house, everything else, and he's like, John, can you give me some money? And John actually reaches into his pocket, and you know what? I'm gonna say what I don't think anybody else will say tonight. This totally seemed to me like total divas John Cena, and I loved it because I truly believe, since everybody in wrestling's an asshole, that's the metric I'm going by now after everything that's happened. This is probably how Cena interacts with what he affectionately terms the poor. Like, he's just like, let me go in here. Oh, I got a 10 today after I swapped by that Arby's, so yeah, you can have this, I guess. Oh, and here's a gift card for whatever. I don't go to that store anymore. And, that's it. So I really felt like, yeah, this is probably as authentic as Cena's going to be with Corbin here because he gives him like a 10 or something. And Corbin's just like, that's it? John, you're rich. I need more than this. I mean, hell, I'm willing to work for it. How about you put me in your next movie, right? How about you put me in the Suicide Squad? And then, of course, Cena cheaply plugs it. And then he's like, well, future project, I could be your stunt double. Oh, yeah, a good point, Foster, because when Baron's talking about his woes, because he got hit in a very sensitive area, thanks to Tegan being Tegan, he can't perform, and now his wife's angry at him. The marriage is probably going to go next, let's be honest.
I mean, she already left him and took the kids.
Oh, well, yeah, it's over. It's over. So, god damn. And so, Cena makes fun at it with whistling stuff because, again, that's how I feel like Cena responds to the suffering of others. Maybe low-key a sociopath, we don't know, and I still find that character far more interesting. Imagine that, a Cena that really doesn't change anything, but you notice slowly that he's a sociopath. Even Roman would be like, wait a minute, what? It's just like,
he's not quite a billionaire, but he's definitely a multi-millionaire, which means he's well on his way to being like in that sort of course he's a sociopath kind of territory.
Yeah, I never thought I would stand with capitalism on anything, but if it gets him there and it translates into the in-ring work, I think I can do it. I think I can put my principles aside for this one cause. But no, Baron's just like, I'm willing to work for it, whatever. And ultimately, the segment ends with Cena giving Baron an AA. Because, I mean, man, I guess costing him that money in the bank all those years ago just wasn't enough. So, overall, I like the segment. I just think, again, I've always got to be sure to separate what we want versus what they give and judging what they give on its own merits. And on its own merits, it's fine. I just still don't understand, like, again, how you can listen to all of that and really not, take it to heart. Because Cena does even say, you talk about how I look, but you're really afraid of how I'll make you look. And, that just kind of punctuates the whole Roman side of things. So anything else you want to say about this promo?
Nope.
All right, let us move on, good sir. We already talked about Rey and Dominic Mysterio. God, their locker room segment. Then we get Jimmy Uso versus Rey. Nothing really to write home about here. Look, I'll be honest about something. I like the Usos. I'm happy that they're tag champions. But I want to get a roll call in the chat here just to see how much of an asshole I am. Does anybody else miss main event Jey Uso with him just having singles matches against Roman's opponents? Because I feel like we're not going to get Jey Uso versus John Cena now, and I low-key would have been really interested in that. In fact, don't even low-key it. I would have high-key been interested in that. Does anybody else miss main event Jey Uso and him just doing single stuff? Because I'm not feeling this tag stuff like I thought I would. How are you feeling about it?
I think for me, I miss feeling like there was some kind of continuity to the Roman Uso storyline. I feel like, it really did feel like they were telling one big grand story right up until WrestleMania-ish. And then soon after that, Jimmy came back, and now it feels like we're in a lull of the storyline, and it feels kind of like the storyline itself is lost, but I'm hoping that it is just a lull and that they'll pick it back up at some point. Yeah,
because, it's hard to talk about this, too, because, I'm obviously happy for Jimmy that he's back, and I know he's going through his stuff, and thankfully Naomi's on SmackDown now, and I hope they can really run and score touchdowns and all that, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm not in the business. We talk about the business. But if I'm Jay and I'm having all this success, it's almost funny, like how, you know how sometimes those infamous storylines, and there have been a handful in the history of the business, where like kayfabe bleeds into real life. If I'm Jay, I'm kind of looking around and I'm like, and if Jimmy didn't come back, could I potentially have been the one to even beat Roman with the momentum that I was gaining? The people I was sharing the ring with week in and week out? Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying, like, tag titles for Jay is a downgrade. The Usos are freaking great. And to be fair, I guarantee you a big reason why I'm feeling this way is because the Mysterios just are not compelling challengers.
That's my big thing. I was about to say, too, like, I like the Usos as tag team champions. We just need a better division around them for them to work off of.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm with you, bro. Like, I do not mind them being a tag team. But again, it's like, this is why I'm so glad that the New Day pushed hard for everything. We need to normalize tag teams and just factions in general, because I always look at a faction as like, 3+. Doing things outside of tag things. Because, I don't think main event Jey Uso had to stop. But I also don't think you didn't have to just not have the Usos be a tag team for it not to stop. You could have had both, to me. In fact, it might have even been better for the story if you could have had both. Because with Roman's insecurity, he would have seen his cousin holding it down. Wait a minute. You're thriving in a tag team and you're still thriving in singles? Like, damn, I better, thank God he's on my side, right? So I feel kind of bad for Jay. Like, I know we make our jokes, like,
really interesting?
What's that?
If in the process of Roman trying to basically exercise Jimmy, he decided to team up with Jay and win the tag titles together.
Yeah! See, that shit I would have been down for sure. For sure, yeah. I don't know, man. I guess you could really say that this whole thing showed me how much of a Jey Uso fan I became through this process.
Yeah.
And I just kind of missed my main event Jey Uso singles match. I mean, again, now that Cena's got the match at SummerSlam, if Jimmy wasn't back, 100% they would have hyped up like, oh, John Cena's first match on SmackDown in X amount of time, and it's against main event Jey Uso, and we would have gotten that match, and Jey would have killed it.
And it would have been a damn good match, too.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we're low-key missing out. So I just kind of wanted to air that opinion in good faith. Nice to see Chad having my back. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, this match was fine. I guess. I mean, the Mysterios kind of jack the Usos tactic, with Dominic providing leverage to Ray on the pin, and they get the win. So it's like, haha, we got you, except this is a meaningless TV match, which we would have thought about that when the titles were on the line, but oh well, whatever. So yeah, that was that match. I just had to have that sidebar about Jay, because I really just enjoyed his character development, and I think it's kind of been, I won't say put to the wayside, but definitely the pause button has been pushed on it. Then we get the Bianca segment. Really no need to talk about this for an extended time, because we already really covered it in the opening segment, so we'll just move on. We get Reggie's interview, more or less talks about how he would have done anything to get to the WWE. That's why he worked with Carmella. That's why he, helped Nia. And now he's 24/7 champion, and, where he grew up in his life, he's used to having his head on a swivel. And Reggie says, whoever's going to accept my open challenge, I'm ready for him. Then we get the challenge. Again, it's Gable. We already talked about this in the opening segment, so we can move on. We get Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage. Actually, forget what this segment was, because it was before the contract signing. Oh, I think it was to officiate the main event, Carmella and Zelina Vega versus Sasha and Bianca. That was the big thing about this backstage segment. That's right. Then we get the contract signing, which we touched on this a little bit, but I think actually, since we didn't talk about it too much in the opening segment, we could still kind of visit it here. So Finn comes out. I wanted to ask you too, bro, because I was getting food when Finn came out, because I knew how long the entrances would take, so I knew I wouldn't miss the actual segment. Did Finn get a nice pop here, or did the crowd seem like quiet for Finn? Did he get? How was his reaction?
I don't think it was as loud as last week, but he did get a pop.
Well, that's good. I figured it wouldn't be as loud as last week. Cleveland was Balor country. It was amazing to me how over he was. So he comes out, then Roman comes out.
I think the biggest pop of the night tonight, not counting Edge, because I feel like Edge has just got that top spot locked, It was either Nakamura or the big uppercut on Aziz from Cesaro in that match.
Yeah, that spot did get a huge pop, and as did Nakamura. I'll be excited to talk about that really in just a little bit. It won't be that much longer because we'll just talk about this contract signing very quickly. I loved Roman's promo here. I loved how he almost tried turning Finn against Cena in a way, even though Finn's like a baby face. But he could be like a hard baby face, like, well, I feel like I'm better than Cena, so it doesn't matter. Like, what he says is of no concern to me. You and that Universal title are of concern to me. But Roman's trying to stir the pot, whatever. And I love, too, where Roman really thrives as a heel on the mic, he understands that, hey, you know, I'm going to put this guy over. And he says, like, you know, you are deserving, you are worthy, you're hungry, and you want it. And I think you deserve this. And you all so deserve the ass beating that's going to come to you at SummerSlam. See, I love that. I love that he gives Finn his due, because people could look at Finn, if they're just tuning in for the first time, and wait a minute, we got a super chat here. $2 from TPA Cliff. Do you think there's any chance Finn screws Cena? Not at all, Cliff.
Nope.
First of all, thank you for the super chat. But no, I think, because they're already making Finn versus Corbin for next week, and we'll get to why in just a second. But I think they're committed to making Finn a babyface. I think he's going to be patient. He's going to keep grinding. And in kayfabe, he's going to earn his title shot. Probably in September, a Clash of Champions, if that's the pay-per-view that's happening in September.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. So
yeah,
that's what I'm
that's
thinking.
That's definitely what I'm viewing as well.
Yeah. And so Roman puts over Finn, but also puts himself over at the same time. Masterful heel work by Roman Reigns.
I love how it's like, you're hungry. I like that. But I'm going to just tell you, at SummerSlam, I'm going to smash you. Like,
I love it too.
He's like, you're great, but it's me.
I low-key hope that these two get along really well backstage IRL, because I love their chemistry. Like, I am low-key hyped for their matchup, and I've gone on record and I've said over and over, like, I feel like Kevin Owens is my favorite opponent for Roman thus far. I think Finn could unseat Kevin, because I remember their matches, and there's something about the way Finn wrestles with his size and everything, and especially with Reigns as a committed heel now, the sympathy and the drama those two could generate in a wrestling ring, it'd be some good shit, man. I think it would generate the sympathy and the drama that I was looking for in the Cesaro matchup that just didn't seem to happen. So, yeah, I'm really excited for that inevitable Balor-Reigns matchup, which we're not getting at SummerSlam, and I was really kind of hoping we would, because I wanted to see how over Balor really was, how many subscriptions he could get, how many whatever he could get, because he says, Roman even says, like, I'm going to beat you so bad, I'll send you back to NXT. And I love Finn's response here, because he says, I would love to go back to NXT as the Universal Champion. So I love that. He doesn't treat NXT as an insult like Roman as a heel necessarily would. I get why Roman went there. But I love that Finn puts NXT over and says, no, I'd be happy to go back, but I'll be going back as Universal Champion.
Finn loves NXT,
that.
Man. He sees that as his stomping ground.
He really does. I mean, I think his second run there was better than his first, so goddamn. I mean, save for the ending with fucking QAnon Cross. But yeah, and that is the one problem, and I think Cliff does make a good point here. I wish the crowd was still behind Finn here, because they were chanting for Cena in the contract signing. And, you know, again, the crowd has the right to cheer for whoever they want to cheer for. I'm not saying, you should have cheered for Finn. I'm just saying for Finn, it's like, damn, y'all really in Cleveland, are you? Because Cleveland really wanted me. And you guys want Cena. But you know what, though? That makes it even better, though, that they're getting the Cena match out of the way now, because I'm hoping when we get to Clash of Champions, presumably when Finn Reigns will take place, they will just be behind Finn, because they got that itch scratched of Cena wrestling Roman Reigns.
Yep.
That's what I'm really hoping for, that Finn really can get that babyface momentum. But yeah, he's about to sign the contract. I'm thinking, holy shit, SmackDown, you continue to surprise me. And surprise me did they, just not in the way I expected, because Baron Corbin, that face, comes in, smashes Finn's face. There's a lot of face in this, against the fucking table.
I find it funny that you called Corbin that face, when in reality we should be calling him that hairline, though.
Dude, it's honestly, is it alive? It's repulsive. Like, what the fuck is going on there? He's about to sign it. He's thinking, oh, yeah, I figured
this
it
is
all
how I
out.
get my money back. I'm going to become Universal Champion, baby.
Time to switch tax brackets. And he's about to sign it. And I'm sorry, I told y'all I've been turning up. So, like, Ashton's the responsible parent here, I guess. The way Cena runs is hilarious. Because he just runs down to that ring. Yeah. It's totally lodged in there, dude. Birch to rectum. Oh, God.
It's funny how you used to say that Shawn Michaels could have even a great match with a broom, and yet John Cena walks like that same broom is shoved up his rectum.
Yeah. Cena comes out. He tosses Corbin into the ring post or throws him into it. Because not only did he slam Finn's face, like, Corbin launched, he yeeted Finn over the barricade. Which, you know, honestly, if anybody wants to be angry about how Finn looked, I would honestly say that would be the point where he'd have the right to be the angriest. I was a bit surprised that Finn didn't even get a forearm or try and fight back, and like Corbin did like a low blow or something. Like Corbin actually handled Finn pretty readily. And I get that he got him from behind, but like Finn was out of the ring and Corbin even had to go out of the ring. So in just those few seconds of reprieve, because it's fucking wrestling, like people choose arbitrarily how much they want to sell. I'm surprised Finn didn't get a few forms to the face at least. Poor Corbin may have like, I don't know, low blow or at least a knee to the midsection or something. No, he just kind of bodied Finn low key. So that's what I would have been the most upset about. You're talking about a guy that literally is coming out with shirts with like fucking sauce stains on them, handling a guy that the crowd last week chanted Roman was scared of. You know, so that's kind of where I'm iffy for Balor. Not that somebody took his title shot, which we all saw coming, whether it's good or not. So Cena affixes his signature with Sharpie, no less, because that's how you make it official, Ashton. And yeah, we learn in a segment immediately after that, Paul Heyman's like, well, what's going on with SummerSlam? What's happening? Well, what the contract says is happening, Paul. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Oh, okay then. So yeah, that was the contract signing. Do you have anything you want to say about this?
No.
All right. Then we get to the big six-man tag, Big E, Cesaro, and Nakamura versus champion that I think might actually finally be about to do interesting stuff, and old people. How did you feel about this match?
I mean, it's funny that you say that Apollo is about to do interesting stuff. I'm curious what you mean by that. What do you think he's about?
Well, I think he's finally going to have that feud with Shinsuke, and I feel like I'm excited for those matches because, like, it's not Big E for once. Shinsuke pinned him in this, didn't he? He did. So that's why I'm excited because it's like, oh man, finally, you know, two guys that I think have really been doing good stuff in the mid card are going to work with each other. Because I love E, but dude, if you're not talking about the Universal title with that briefcase, you ain't talking. Like, I don't want him facing Apollo anymore. If he wants to regain the Intercontinental title at some point, that's a separate issue, and I'm cool with that. Just don't do it while Apollo's champion. I need a break. I need a break. So Nakamura pinning Apollo is great for me. I'm actually really excited about this. I think it'll be a solid mid-card match. And like you said, dude, this crowd was hot for Shin. I think him being Kinsuke and Boogs, it's a nice act. It's over with crowds. In fact, I know we're not at preview predictions, but I'm just going to tell you right now, bro, I wouldn't even be surprised if Shinsuke won here. I don't necessarily think he will, but we'll see. We'll see.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's the the Intercontinental Championship. Nakamura, I believe, has held that before, maybe even multiple times. Or maybe I'm just still stuck in his New Japan days. I don't know. But yeah, Nakamura with the Intercontinental Championship is kind of an iconic thing from New Japan, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was one hell of a great Intercontinental Champion in the WWE as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, Nakamura gets the win for his team. I will say, I don't know if it's going to be a one-on-one match because, like, as somebody else pointed out, in fact, I don't think they messaged that long ago, so I want to get their name right. Super Pony. Wow, a Super Pony. That's intense. Said much earlier in the chat, like, oh, it's a shame that KO wasn't on the show and doesn't seem like he has anything to do, because I think they were looking forward to them maybe working more with Corbin, because we talked about the whole thing of, like, Kevin Owens teaching Corbin how to be a good person. They may still pick that thread up, because with WWE, we got to understand with WWE that just because they don't do something or just because they do something doesn't mean that that's, like, the whole thing. So we really have to see where they're going to go with it. So maybe KO is still attached to Corbin. I'm more curious what Cesaro does here, which is why I'm wondering if it even is going to be just a one-on-one match to start between Nakamura and Apollo, or if they're going to kind of work up to that by doing a multi-man schmoz first. Because Cesaro, I mean, he had the match with Roman. He lost it. He had been feuding with Seth all the while. He ultimately lost the feud because their last match was the Money in the Bank qualifier, which Seth won. And, then he had that brief little thing with Alpha Academy, which literally only lasted a week. Now they're teasing he might go after the Intercontinental title, but Nakamura got the pin. I don't want to say that Cesaro feels directionless because he's still on TV. Like, that would be the biggest cause of concern is if he wasn't on TV. I just wonder where he goes from here as a talent. Because, I feel like the main event push, that's over with. They did it. It's done with. Now, Balor will probably be the next Cesaro guy. That guy that gets that rub before he's probably in the upper mid-card or whatever. So, yeah, we will see what happens. So, KO and Cesaro are always acts I'm thinking about in terms of, their definitive direction. And then we get to, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. We get to my favorite segment of the night, by far. Edge comes out wearing a Mysterio's t-shirt. I question those fashion choices. And that's really something, given what happened after this. So we make it seem like, Edge is going to address the crowd or whatever. And then I tab back to my stream because I had been tabbed out, admittedly. And I'm seeing a recap where Seth Rollins had attacked Edge from behind. And then he just hit him in the face with a camera. And then Seth, who I even said in the live wrestling discussion Discord, and again, for those of you, because I'm noticing we're getting new commenters in our chats lately, which is really cool, so long as they're respectful. We got Super Pony here. We had a guy named Shad Thompson in Q&A, and Valar in our Stardom streams. If you guys want to be a part of our TWitWoW Discord, it is $3 a month to the TWitWoW Patreon. It's a great server, wonderful people, and we've got channels for everything. And yeah, we have a live wrestling discussion channel for shows like NXT, Smackdown, all that stuff. We have people that discuss AEW Dynamite in there. Ashton and I don't watch the show, but our patrons, they're more than welcome to discuss it.
I have it on my TV every Wednesday because my mom likes to watch it.
I guess I should say you and I aren't necessarily fans of the show. Maybe that's more honest. But we don't stop our fans from talking about it. So yeah, live wrestling discussion channel is awesome. And I even said, Seth's gone full omelet because my whole thing is, he's cracking like an egg, baby. Like an egg. But yeah, it's full omelet now. It's over. It's over. But here's the thing. I love it. I don't want to love it. It's concerning to me that I love it because I'm low-key, I'm 9 out of 10.
I'll take it.
I'm low-key concerned that Seth Rollins is my final form because this dude is fucking ridiculous. But then I think about the shit that comes out of my mouth, especially when I'm turned up and being aggro.
Yep.
And I'm fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
And I think about the way this man dresses. Now, hey, I will stand by. I have a better fashion sense than Seth Rollins. Fuck y'all. But
according to whom?
Me, the only opinion that matters. And see, there it is again. But with Seth, he's so unapologetically his own face. It's really amazing, actually. I've really never seen anything like it. He's like, don't you boo me. I had to do it. I think he even said with the assault to Edge, I had to do it. Roll the footage. And he takes us through the whole thing. 4 weeks ago, how he was ready physically, spiritually, mentally. I heavily questioned that last point to be Universal Champion. And then Edge gets the shot, and we all know that Rollins just pitched a fit. What? Over me? No. And just this whole thing. And then he screws Edge. And God, it's just, I don't want to like Seth this much, but it's a weird fucking timeline, guys. It's a weird fucking timeline when my favorite acts in WWE right now, or some of my favorite acts, because I still love KO and Cesaro, but the people that are really climbing up there, fucking Johnny Gargano, Seth Rollins, and Liv Morgan's the most normal one. God damn, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, he's like, if I can't be Universal Champion, he pretty much is like, if I can't be Universal Champion, nobody can. This dude is whacked. He is warped. He is cuckoo bananas. And I'm here for it. I'm here for every last fucking second of it. And I didn't think I would be because Rollins is such a quintessential bootlicker. He is the type, when murmurs are happening with unions, he pipes up and he's like, actually, the real answer is you just need to work harder. Like, he's 100% that guy.
Yes.
But, like, man, again, like a Sasha,
no, see,
like
he
other
wouldn't
people.
say it like that because he's convinced that he's cool. So he wouldn't try and say it like all like dorky like that. He'd be like, "Listen, guys, I don't know what the problem is. All you got to do is just get in there and talk with Vince. He'll take care of you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we got a $2 super chat from Cliff again. Embrace the vision.
Oh, thank you so much, Cliff. And I have. I honestly fucking have. I've enjoyed his in-ring work. I know, Ashton, you love his theme. This might be the best run he's been on in a minute. Because I think the matches with Cesaro have more or less been solid. Hell in a Cell was the weakest one, but I love their Money in the Bank qualifier. I think the match with Edge is going to be fucking great. I honestly, it's a shame they're both heel because I know him and Roman can do good stuff together. Like, really good stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Seth's kind of killing it right now, but he's also completely and utterly warped. But again, dare I say it? Dare I actually say it on a live stream? I stand this Seth Rollins in this household. Like I'm looking into the mirror of my final form. It's so perfectly clear to me now. So while that's concerning, I've just decided to, ride the wave, let it happen. And yeah, Seth, I guess he's just decided to ride the wave too and be like, you know what? Fuck all you guys. I'm going to take Edge out permanently, probably. I don't know. I have to think about it. And then I'm going to be Universal Champion. I never, and this is probably going to be the most asshole-ish thing I say, at least in kayfabe, I never want this dude to put himself together again. I never want him to know what sanity is again. Like him being healthy is legitimately bad for business. In kayfabe. I do not want to be taken out of context. But yeah, I never want him to ever know happiness or a sating of desire ever again. Like, I always want him to be at arm's reach of all of his dreams, because when he is spiraling, no, fam, to use our classic word when we're gaming together, when he is full-blown fucking tilting, it is impeccable television. It really is. So, Seth, I can't stop tilting my fucking face, Rollins. The best Rollins. All right. Do you have actually anything you want to add about Rollins' promo or his character work? How you're feeling on your side of things?
Dude, you said anything that needed to be said. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, then we don't need to say much here because there was Bianca, Sasha, Zelina, Carmella.
Oh.
We talked about this enough in the opening segment. So, yeah, move on to high spots and low shots. My low shot, honestly, it's Edge. Because not only did you get assaulted, Seth Rollins talked his shit, and he thought he was in the right. Holy fuck. I actually want to go back because that's the one thing about YouTube versions. Sometimes they cut out the best part of promos. I need to go back and watch that full promo because I could swear he's like, "You shut your mouths! You shut your mouths! I had to do it." And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I am telling you, he is just 2 Smackdowns away from having a full-blown manifesto. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for Edge to just push him that far. He's really going off that deep end. But yeah,
Edge to push him that far. Edge hasn't done anything to him.
In your mind, in your sane, emotionally healthy mind, yes. That's why I said emotionally healthy and sane, because it corroborates with reality. But in Seth's mind, he took his title shot from him. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not even taking up for Seth. I'm just kind of like, he's doing his own thing.
It does feel a little like you are taking up for Seth.
Well, this isn't about me, okay? So who's your low shot?
You kind of made it. Anyway, my low shot's Roman Reigns, man.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's a good one.
This dude went from basically being able to choose his own SummerSlam opponent to being given the worst possible one for him.
Yeah. Well, makes a great point, too. Edge got attacked during a commercial. But yeah, it was a rough night for Roman. Obviously, he didn't want the match.
You know what? Roman is my honorary low shot. My low shot's Corbin.
Oh, well, you know what? I actually want to make an honorary low shot, too, if I may. Fucking Bianca Belair. The more I think about it.
That's a really
she had a rough fucking night, man.
But dude, think about it. Corbin literally not literally opens the show, but he comes out in the opening segment of the show to humble himself before John Cena, who has really kind of fucking destroyed Corbin's career in the past, literally prevented him from being able to successfully cash in a Money in the Bank briefcase, humbles himself before this man and asks him for some help. Cena drops him a 10. And Corbin's like, what? Come on, man. You're a millionaire. You work in Hollywood. You act in movies. You're gonna be in one of the biggest hits of the summer. Let me get some help, man. I'll work for it. I'll be your stunt double. And Cena, in response, both A, makes fun of him more, and B, attitude adjusts him and takes the money back. And then out of the night, down on his luck, Corbin decides, you know what? I'm going to make an opportunity for myself. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to attack the challenger. I'm going to become the new challenger for the Universal Championship, and I'm going to win it, and I'm going to get a nice big fat bonus on my contract. And Cena ruined his night on that well.
That's the second time Cena screwed him out of a world title in a number of years. Like, he just can't stop himself.
It literally is.
He just can't help himself. Like, every time Corbin's near a world title, Cena's like, I sense a disturbance.
Dude, it's funny because the first segment of the night, Cena was like, I don't recognize you. And then it's like, he might not have recognized him, but he still recognizes him in spirit enough to know, wait a minute, my Corbin senses are tingling. I need to go screw this guy out of a world title shot.
I don't know who you are, but I feel like I need to ruin your life.
Yeah. Just inherently.
Exactly. I'm gonna fully commit. High spot Seth Rollins. He assaulted an old man, which makes him me. But then he tried rationalizing it, which makes him like my dad. But then he cackled about it.
What?
Well, it also reminds him of my father in a negative way. But then he cackles about it very charismatically, which brings it back to me. So I think ultimately where this all breaks is Rollins is a mood. And I'm here for it. I'm probably going to rock out to his theme when we get done here. I'm finally embracing the vision, and I can't lie, it feels pretty good. So, who is your high spot?
I think I'm going to keep this one really simple and make it Nakamura because he pinned the Intercontinental Champion tonight.
Oh, very cool, man. Very cool. Supporting your boy. I know Nakamura, very talented. We support Nak in this household. Very happy to see him vying for that Intercontinental title. So, yeah. With that said, guys, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-running commentator, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Check out all of our links down below. And also be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never get miss any of that TWitWoW goodness, because it is going to be revving up with the 5-star starting this weekend. More on Stardom in a moment. Check out all of our links in the description box. Obviously, our Patreon is one big one. You can check out all of our offerings to our patrons. The two I always like to point out, additional Q&A questions. We just did Q&A last night. For August, it is going to be August 26th, because that is the last Thursday in August. We do Q&A the last Thursday of every month. Non-Patreon owners get 3 Q&A questions. If you donate $1, however, you can get up to 5 Q&A questions. So be sure to donate that $1. And, of course, I already plugged the TWitWoW Discord earlier. That is $3. And, like I said, it's a great community. And you can also submit your Q&A questions there. So I would just donate the $3, get your additional Q&A questions, and then just submit them right in the Discord. That's for $3. Follow us both on Twitter. I plugged my Twitter handle earlier at John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is, again, to collect Q&A questions. I think the 2 easiest places to submit Q&A questions are my pinned tweet or, again, the Discord. So be sure to do that. You've got plenty of time. Again, next Q&A isn't until August 26th, but is something to be thinking about. Then, finally, I just want to plug Ashton's Twitter. He is at Ashton_TWitWoW. He has updated the schedule as we're nearing the end of July here. And this weekend is essentially tomorrow. We are going to be doing the Stardom July 24th show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Sunday, we're going to be doing the July 25th show at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's a Stardom weekend. It's going to be great. Really excited to get those shows under our belt. This way we can focus fully on the 5-Star Grand Prix, which we just got done previewing and predicting today. If you want to see our breakdown of who we have winning what matches and who we ultimately see winning the tournament, go to our channel, check out our 5-star Grand Prix preview and predictions. Greatly appreciate it. So we will see you guys tomorrow at 7 for the 24th show. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. And until we meet again, tune in. Peace out.